Hi all, welcome to the channel Cloud Knowledge. Today in this video, we'll study a scenario where we will demonstrate the usage of pipeline parameters, pipeline variables, set variable activity, and if condition activity. Okay, so the scenario looks like here we have in the storage account two folders called class 10 and class 9. You can see there is no space in between them. And if we try to open these folders, we have a file present inside it, a CSV, okay? The name of the file is class10 students.csv. If we try to open and see the contents of this file by opening and editing it, we could see that it has two columns and some rows, okay? Now we'll go back and in the class 9 folder we'll go and see the contents of the class 9 students.csv, and here also we could see some student ID and marks details. Okay, one important thing to note here is that the name of the file is class 9 students.csv and class 10 students.csv, and they reside inside folder class 9 and class 10. Okay, so if we go to the whiteboard here, we have folder 1 and we have folder 2. This is class 10. This is class 9. The file name is class 10 students.csv, class 9 students.csv. Okay, our requirement is that we want to copy these files to the target folder. Okay, let's say this is our target folder. Okay, so how we want to copy this is by using parameter, variable and set variable activity concept. Okay, so here in this case we will take the file names, that is class 10 students.csv and class 9 students.csv, as pipeline parameter. Okay, and what is pipeline parameter? If we go here and to the pipeline parameters and variables documentation by Microsoft, pipeline parameters are defined at the pipeline level and cannot be modified during a pipeline run. It can be used to control the behavior of a pipeline and its activities. So important thing is that it will not be modified during the pipeline run. Okay, so if we give the parameter upon execution of the pipeline, let's say class 9 students.csv, it will not change. Okay, and this folder names, these folder names class 10 and class 9 will make use of variables to give the folder names. So file name will be parameterized and the folder names will be variables. Okay, and then we'll use set variable activity. Set variable activity, what it will do, as we have already studied in the playlist of the activities, that it will set the variable, okay, the value which will give. So let's say if we are giving class 9 students.csv and from this name itself we will derive that variable. Okay, what we'll do is that we'll replace students.csv with blank. So if from the name of the file we remove students.csv, we are left with class 9. Okay, class 9 is left, which is the folder name. Similarly here, if we remove students.csv, we are left with class 10, which is the folder name. So that will become our variable. So we'll derive the variable from the parameter file name. Okay, and then we'll use the set variable activity, which is used to set the value of an existing variable of type string, bool or array. Okay, and that existing variable will be, the variable are the values that can be set and modified during pipeline run. Why? Because the file name will not be modified. According to the file name, the variable name will be modified. Let's say we give class 9 students.csv, the variable will become class 9, that is the folder name. And once we change the file name, that is, let's say we give class 10 students.csv, during the pipeline execution, the folder name will become class 10. And then we will use the if condition activity, and on the basis of the if condition activity on the basis of the condition whether the variable is equals to class 9 or 10, we will route it to the true or the false case. Okay, so let's now go to the data factory and try to implement the pipeline. So we'll go here inside the data factory and we'll make a new pipeline. Let's name this as set var demo. So since it's a set variable activity demo, we'll take the set variable activity in the canvas first. And we know that the set variable activity needs inputs, that is the pipeline variable. If we go to the settings, here we couldn't see any pipeline variable defined. So we have to go to the pipeline, okay, that is in the blank space of the canvas. And here we'll define the parameters and variables. That is, we know that we'll define the file name as parameter. So we'll click on plus new and here we'll write file name, okay, as the parameter, and the type and default value will be as is. We'll go to the variable section and we'll define the folder name here. And here we'll define the folder name. Okay. So file name is the parameter and folder name is the variable. Now, if we go to the set variable activity and inside the settings, if we click on the drop down, we can see the variable defined at the pipeline level, which is the folder name. And if we go to the storage account, we are inside the test input container and we have two folders, class 10 and class 9, which we have seen here. Okay, class 10 and class 9, and these have files class 10 students.csv, class 9 students.csv, and the folder name is defined from those files. Okay, so if we go here and in the value, we'll try to add the dynamic content. Okay, in the dynamic content, we'll make use of the function replace. If we click on the functions and here if we search the function replace, it is a string function. If we select replace function and if we hover over the replace function, it says replace function. It has first the string, then the old string and new string. It replace a substring with a specified string and return the result string. This is case sensitive. Okay, so the first parameter to this replace function will be the entire string and the string will be the file name, right? Because from the file name we are going to derive the folder name. So we'll select from the parameters list the file name. Okay, under the parameter section we have the pipeline.parameters file name, and from the file name we want to replace what? And from the file name we want to replace this students.csv with blank, that is empty. Okay, so in this file name we want to replace students.csv with nothing. So we'll mention here under single quotes students.csv. Make sure you write the proper casing. So we have written students.csv, replace it with blank space. Okay, so what happens is that from the file name students.csv will be replaced by blank. Okay, so this replace function will replace the file name having students.csv with this empty codes which we have given here. Okay, so this looks fine. Click OK. Now we have given OK here. Now this is done for the folder name. So we have defined the variable folder name and how it is going to derive from here. Now we know that the parameter is the file name, so that will give during runtime. And in the set variable activity, we have defined the folder name by deriving it from the pipeline parameter file name. Okay. Now our next step is to apply condition that if the file is class 10 students.csv, then go to this class 10 folder and then copy the file present inside it to the target location. Okay, so for this purpose, we have to use condition activity, which is called the if condition activity, and it resides under iteration and conditionals with the name as if condition. So we'll take that in the canvas. So we'll take if condition in the canvas and we'll connect set variable activity to if condition. Now we'll click on if condition and we'll go to the activities section. In the activities, we have to give the expression of the if condition activity. It must evaluate to true or false. That it should be Boolean. That is, it should be Boolean. So here we'll add the dynamic content. That is the expression. So what should be the expression here? If the variable, that is the folder name, is class 10, then copy the class 10 students.csv, else copy the class 9 students.csv. Okay. If there are multiple folders like that, we could use switch activity also. So we'll use here the function called equals. Equals. Okay. It returns true if two values are equal. So we'll click over it, and here in the first argument, we'll pass the variable. So the variable is folder name. If that folder name is equal to class, let's say 10, then you perform the true activities, else the false activities. So since we have given in the expression that if the variable folder name is class 10, then we have to make sure that the class 10 students.csv is copied. So we'll click OK. So for class 10, we'll go to the true activities, and here we are inside the if condition true activities. We'll perform the copy operation. So we'll take the copy activity in the canvas and we'll connect to the source. That is, in the second tab, we'll connect to the source dataset, and the source dataset lies inside the test input folder, right? So we'll try to connect to the Gen2 storage account. We'll select the file format as delimited text. We'll write this as set var demo in name. Link service we already have for the storage Gen2 account. File path will browse up to the folder, that is the container test input, and we'll click OK. We'll not select class 10 or class 9. Why? Because we have to give the wildcard file path. Okay. Why? Because the folder name will be defined by the variable and the file name by the parameter. Okay. So we have to select up to the test input container. Click OK. First row has header, import schema none. Click OK. Right. So the source dataset is selected. We have the option now as file path type. So we'll go with the wildcard file path, which will give us the container name, wildcard folder path, and here is the file name. So we know the folder path will be the variable. So we'll add the dynamic content. From the variable section, we'll select the variable. Okay. And the dynamic content for the file name, that will be the parameter, which we'll give during pipeline execution. You got it? This is the parameter for the file name, and we know that we have derived the folder name from this parameter using the set variable activity that we have given in the folder name. Okay. Next, we'll go to the sync, and let's say we'll try to land this into a table in the SQL database. So we'll create the sync dataset. We'll connect to the SQL database. We'll select continue. We'll name it as SQL database for class 10. Then the link service we already have for one of the database. We'll click on edit to create a new table. Table name as class 10. Import schema none. Click OK. And here table option is, we'll select auto create table. That is, it automatically creates sync table if non-existent. Let's try to validate if it looks okay. Yeah, up to this point our mapping looks okay. Now we'll go back here in the if condition to the false block. Let's name here the copy data 1 as copy data for class 10 so that it looks proper. We'll go back and we'll go to the false section, and the false activities, again we'll take the copy data activity and we'll name this as copy data for class 9th, and we'll go to the source section and we'll connect to the source dataset. So the source dataset will be same, that is set var demo in, where we have defined the wildcard file path as the variable folder name, and in the file parameter file name. Okay, and we'll go to the sink now and we'll create another table at the database level. So we'll select the database, SQL database. Here we'll not write it as class 9 link service we already have. We'll edit the table name and we'll write this time inside the DBO schema we want to create the table with name class 9. Import schema none, click OK, and we'll go to the pipeline, validate the entire pipeline and publish the changes. So if we go here, the SQL database is already open. We can see we are inside the query editor, and in the CK-SQL-DB we have only two tables, and we'll go back to the pipeline. Publishing completed, we'll perform a debug run. So let's give the file name as, let's go here, let's try to copy class 10 students.csv. So copy the file name, pipeline parameter. So here we have to give the file name as parameter. Okay, and click OK. So here we could see that the pipeline is getting executed. Set variable completed. We can see in the output the value is set as class 10 because we have given the file name as class 10 students.csv. So the replace function worked inside the set variable activity and got us class 10. Then if condition is still in progress, copy data class 10 is getting executed and it succeeded. Why? Because it found here from the expression which we have given if the folder name is class 10. So yes, it was class 10. That's why copy data class 10 is getting executed. Okay, all three completed successfully. If we open copy data 10, here we could see that yeah, it took class 10 students.csv from the wildcard folder path class 10. And in the wildcard folder path and the file name, we gave here the variable, pipeline variable and the pipeline parameter. Okay, and if we go to the output, we could see that it has written the data. Now let's go to the database and click on refresh, and we'll open the table section. We could see here a new table is created, DBO class 10. Okay, if we try to select the rows, here we could see the data. Student ID, total marks is loaded. Okay, same as we have here inside the CSV. If we click over it and try to preview the data, we have the same data, 11 to 19. Here also 11 to 19 loaded. Okay, and now let's try to perform another run. So we'll go with class 9 this time. So we'll edit here, class 9 students.csv. Click OK. So the pipeline parameter is given this time is for class 9. So it should go to the class 9 folder. Using the set variable activity, the folder location will be set as class 9 for this pipeline execution, and the file from class 9 should be copied. Okay, we go here the storage account, we'll go back and we'll see the class 9 students.csv's content here. Okay, we have few IDs present here, and we could see set variable output has the folder name as class 9 this time, and copy data class 9 is getting executed. Let's click on refresh, and here we could see that the copy data class 9 failed. So let's go to the failure error message, the error details. It says that we have invalid object name dbo.class9. Oh, so we forgot here to mention auto create table. So let's go here to the copy data class 9 and the sync, and at the sync level we had to select table option as auto create table because the table is not there in the database, so it should create the table. Now let's again publish the changes, and we'll go back to the pipeline and we'll perform a debug run again. So let's give here class 9 students.csv, click OK. Let's wait for the execution to complete. So this time all three completed successfully. Let's go to the SQL DB, and here we will again refresh and click on the tables, and we could see another table dbo.class9 is generated here with the data of student ID and total marks. Okay, same as the content we have in the CSV. Okay, so this is how we make use of the pipeline, parameter, variable, and set variable activity together. We make use of the pipeline parameter, which we have used for the file name, variable for the folder name, which we have derived using the set variable activity, this expression using the replace function, okay, and then using the if condition activity, we have tried to route it to the two cases. Had there been more folders, we could have used switch activity, okay, and the set variable activity, depending on the pipeline parameter file which we gave, it set the value of the folder, okay, for that particular pipeline execution, and then fetches the file from that folder and executes it. So this was a small demo demonstrating variable, parameter, set variable activity, if condition, and copy activity. I hope you have understood this demonstration. Do let me know in comments if you have any queries. Thank you for watching the video. Happy learning. Bye.